This is Hanger24. That's the old sign, Blue Baron. It's now Hanger24. And we just are going to take a little tour. And record the work we did in here. Still got the plane in there. Looks pretty good. We put in a 2-port jack there for a POS station. Right alongside this bar. Another 2-port jack there. So they'll have a total of 3 Aloha POSs and another one there. So there's 3 for the bar. 2 wires each. And they all go back to the rack. They all run through this wall, up through the attic, over this way. Oh, and while we're here, right there is a Ubiquiti access point for customers, guest Wi-Fi. And right over here is another one. That is for the corporate side, employees, whatnot, and handheld Aloha order takers. Those are both hardwired to the rack. And we come back behind here. This will be the kitchen delivery area, whatever they want to call it. And they don't have the, they're going to put a truck right here. So that whole bar is getting removed. And that's why we didn't hardwire into that. This wall partition here with the TV on it, that's all going to be removed. And they've got a big truck they're going to put in here and cut the side out and deliver orders through that. So back to the networking part of it. We put this big recessed plate in. So once the truck's in here, we can just run patch cords from here to anywhere in that truck that they want. And all those wires go up through the attic and down, basically down through this wall. And the other side of that wall there is the rack. Now we'll go take a look at the rack. Kitchen. There is a 2-port wall jack installed that goes back to the rack for a printer, kitchen order printer. And here's their little office. Now that's the rack that was in here already. That's just got stereo equipment in it. But this black one is the one that we installed, and it's got a nice bundle of wires coming into the back of it, the key, and down in that crack there is the 2-port wall jack for this workstation, which also goes up and around and into the rack. So all the access points and all those plugs I just showed you all go to this patch panel, which is the one device on the very top. And then they loop with patch cords into the Cisco switch. And the Cisco switch loops into the Sonic Wall firewall, which is configured into 3 different LAN segment devices, so that Aloha POSs can be on a separate LAN. That Cisco switch is configured with a total of 4 VLANs. One is Aloha, one is the public, which basically the only thing on the public is the public Wi-Fi out in the lobby or the dining area. The other 2 access points for corporate are on the private VLAN. And then there's an Aloha VLAN, and then the switch comes by default with VLAN 1, so that would be the 4th one. The one plug over here is configured to the server, but not as a regular port. It's configured as a trunk, which has all the VLANs on it, so you can get to any segment of the network from just changing VLANs on the network card of the server. The server also has another network card that stays on the private at all times. So one is hooked to the trunk so you can manage everything. The other one is hooked to the private, which is going to be the internal network system for operations. The server came without an operating system loaded. We loaded Windows Server 2012 R2, and it had no hard drives that came later. Can't really. Here we go. Now I can open it. Those two hard drives there are configured with RAID 1, which means they're mirrored. So if a hard drive goes out, you just order a new one and pop it in, and they'll synchronize basically and copy each other, so that you never have to go down. If I ordered the server, I would have ordered it with 2 power units as well, but it's not necessary. It's just more redundancy. Here's the battery backup, which is running everything in this rack. So if the power goes out, all this stuff stays running. And we mounted this rack and ran all the wires to it, to this workstation, which obviously will be for management purposes. And one more access point is back here, designed for the private network for employees and whatnot and handheld devices. And that concludes this build for Hanger24.